free market and solve the problem of environment, because just now you say that human mind is a great thing because we can crack every problem, but human is great. And for examples, just now you mentioned the nuclear power, but the waste, the nuclear waste is really hazardous, that impose a threat to us human race. And also for China, we are growing at a tremendous rate, but however, we are not developing a sustainable way. So do you think that free market can help us to develop in a healthy, sustainable way?
So
yeah.
you said this was an easy question?
Yeah.
So my short answer is yes. Free markets are the way to get to a clean environment. But let's unpackage the question a minute. What does environment mean? When we talk about environment, what do we mean? The environment, what do we mean?
The nature.
Okay, so there are two meanings to this. One is nature, out there, pure nature, not including human beings usually, right? When I talk about the environment, I talk about human environment. My environment, your environment. You know, the quality of our environment. For human beings, at least in America, let's say, because I don't know that much about China, although I know you have a lot of pollution. But no, I'll say this about China as well. This is true about China. The human environment in capitalist countries, including China, is the best it's ever been in human history. It's never been better. So yes, there's a little smog in the air, and it's got an unpleasant smell. But because of capitalism, you have the wealth to drive a car and travel all over the place, fly airplanes, play on your iPhone. Your environment has never been better. Yes, so there's a price to pay in the short run, which is smog. Big deal, right? It's not that big of a deal. Now, as you become wealthier in China, as your means of production become more efficient, for example, converting to nuclear from coal, the air will become cleaner. And by the way, the nuclear waste issue is not a big issue. You can find plenty of places in China where nobody lives, like in the middle of the desert. You can dig a hole deep enough and stick all the nuclear waste there. In France, for example, which has no empty spaces, they recycle all their nuclear waste, and they have no problem. So nuclear waste problem is a fiction created by people who are anti-nuclear energy, not a real problem. But look, pollution, for a while, is a price you pay for progress. I'll take progress any day over pollution. I'd rather have pollution and progress than no progress and a clean. But it's even false that we ever were clean. So London 150 years ago, or 200 years ago, London I know, right? What was the air like in London 200 years ago? It's horrible. Because horses used to go in the streets and they used to poop everywhere, right? They used to do their stuff everywhere. And they used to pile up. And sewage used to run through the streets because they weren't wealthy enough to build a sewage system. So, wealth creates cleanliness. You will get, in China, there's a period in industrial development all over the world, everywhere, where you go through a period, you ramp up production and pollution goes up. And you reach a certain level and you don't like it anymore, so you start putting in cleaner technologies and pollution goes down. And it doesn't require the government to do it. The government usually regulates it after the fact, not before the fact. But let me give you a bigger answer. How do free markets solve pollution problems? In my view, the way to solve them is to privatize them. To privatize as much property as possible. So I'll give you water as a good example. If I own the river, you can't dump your garbage in my river. Just like you can't dump your garbage in my backyard. So the more we privatize, the more we bring in private incentives, the cleaner the environment will be. You know where the dirtiest place on the planet was? Eastern Europe, Soviet Union, when the wall came down, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Russia were filthy. Why? Because there was no private ownership of anything. And when there's no private ownership of anything, nobody cares about anything. Your house is cleaner than the public space because you care, because it's yours. So if you give people ownership rights, they keep them clean. If you have everything public property, it becomes dirty. So I think generally free markets are the solution to pollution. And I have to say, I have to be careful not to be too controversial, I guess. I don't care about nature. I care about human beings. I care about nature in the sense that it's good for human beings to have nature. So if I care about it, I value it, I'll protect it. But not by violating your property, but by, through the marketplace. The marketplace will protect those kinds of things. But what I care about is the human environment. And I think the human environment is the best it's ever been. We live happier, healthier, better lives than ever. And we should celebrate that. Stop complaining about a little bit of pollution. This animal goes extinct, that animal goes extinct. Animals goes extinct throughout history. 1 million years ago, dinosaurs went extinct. Are you crying? Are we crying about it? No. They went extinct. We keep going.